Gotham police declare war on Batman.
I gather you've been reading How to Make Friends and Influence People.
Somebody's setting me up.
My heavens. You mean it wasn't you tossing guards out of windows last night?
I only toss butlers, Alfred.
It's hard to
just start.
open with this. Welcome to our newest installment.
Yes.
Our newest chapter.
The next.
We have broken away from Joel Schumacher.
Right. The original series of films.
What you'd consider, I think, like sort of the main four.
Right.
The Batman Renaissance.
The first, you can't call it the first quadrilogy,
yes,
I guess. The first four main films in the Batman franchise. We're stepping away from that. We're moving to the small screen as we watch Batman. We probably should have a theme song at this point. We'll do that.
Tom and Jeff watch Batman. Batman watched by Tom and Jeff.
Tom and Jeff watch Batman.
Yeah, we're watching Batman.
Watching the Batman.
Watching the Batman. Batman. Watching the Batman. Watching the Batman. Batman. That's it. You got it.
That's it right there.
That's it. Cut. That's your trailer.
Right. Next song. So we're starting with we did a poll.
And we had a dominant decision.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, 200, not a ton. Well, 221 votes is probably pretty good, all things considered.
I think that's more patrons than we actually have. So that's more people that are actually that are going to actually hear this episode.
Okay. Well, hopefully hopefully all and more hear the rest.
Hopefully they
of
all
this.
subscribe.
And a 52%, that's 115 votes, went to Batman the Animated Series. It was between the Nolanverse, Batman the Animated Series, and Batman 66. Those were like the three seminal pieces that we're going to get to.
Right.
And those were the things that we had discussed. We still have animated features to get through. A lot of them.
There's a fucking lot. Holy shit.
God. And then people are like, well, are you going to do...
You can do Batman Beyond? Sure.
Yes.
Brave and the Bold? Jesus.
Yeah, sure. Diedrich Bader is fantastic.
Never seen Brave and the Bold.
It's, you know what Brave and the Bold is going to do when we get there? It's going to do a lot of our job for us, which is going to make it tough because it knows what it is in a very funny way. It's very slapsticky and goofy and fun. They asked about Justice League and JLU, and I said eventually, but those are pretty bat.
I don't know.
That's like the end for us.
Right.
That'll be like, oh, this is getting.
That'll be like 300 episodes in.
That's like considering August 30th summer. You know, you're just like, I guess we can get to
technically.
it. I mean, technically, there's. And then I was watching Batman versus Superman and texting you, and you're like, I forgot that movie exists.
We were gonna have to do Batman v Superman.
We have to. We can't avoid doing that.
Well, definitely in terms of we want to talk about the different eras of Batman, because they're defined by the Tim Burton films, the Schumacher films, the Nolan films, the Zack Snyder stuff, and then the animated series. Those are like the main. Oh, and the 66.
Yes.
Those are the main.
Those are your touchstones.
Yeah.
But there's so much stuff for us to do, and we decided to hit Batman the Animated Series, and I think this will be fun. I think Batman the Animated Series is going to be one of the hardest things for us to do. Right.
Because it's pretty good.
It's decent.
Yeah.
And it's also a cartoon.
Yeah.
So a lot of the stuff that it's not a $200 million movie.
Right. And it's not supposed to be, it's not like the Nolan verse where it's supposed to be, hey, this is Batman in a real world context. And it's not Tim Burton where it's like, hey, this is this operatic Batman, which is, there's fantastical elements to it.
It's a cartoon.
But this is a cartoon. So, I mean, in the second episode, which we're going to talk about today, there are giant tin soldiers.
The dichotomy of the pilot versus the second episode
is
they are so night and day.
Yeah.
It's like dark night and dark day. But here's the thing. It's way easier to do a comedy podcast with something that sucks.
Yeah.
Anytime you're like, oh my God, I love this very, very good podcast about something shitty. You're like, shitting on bad stuff is fun.
Well, it's the easiest.
And it's easy. But now we're going to be like attacking something that I
think we can do it.
We can
do it. It was a big part of what I did at smacked.com.
Crank.com.
Crank.com. Crank Yankers. It's the Crank Yankers fan website. No, it's really taking films that like I could do a 3-hour podcast ripping on Jurassic Park
Yes.
because I've watched that movie so many times
Yeah.
and I love it so much. I've thought like we can come at this from like a deconstruction.
We're also deconstructing 22-minute episodes.
That's
We're dedicating theoretically more time per episode than every episode has.
right than it takes to watch the series.
We're dedicating a theoretical 30 minutes to a 22-minute show.
Possibly. We're gonna do. Okay, here's. We're gonna tell you the format right now, and this may change the very next episode. But right now, we're gonna do 2 episodes of the animated series per episode.
The first 2.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we may start doing 3 episodes per.
Yeah. For several reasons, not the least of which
It's
this is a hike.
it's a lot. There's 80 odd some episodes of the original run.
Yeah. And we want to keep it fresh of like, I want to get to the Nolanverse.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot to talk about. I want to get to Batman versus Superman. I want to get to a lot of the very terrible animated features.
Yeah, the 60s stuff. We're gonna jump around. We're not gonna do. This is not us beginning the whole trek of the animated series. We're probably gonna stop at season 1.
Yeah.
and then we'll come back to it.
But this is great.
Yeah.
This is great. And I got access to it,
Good.
which is good.
That was a
real
photo finish there.
I was because
being able to watch the show.
I've lost my access to Amazon Prime. Bummer. I recorded a podcast earlier this afternoon at a comedian named Eric Barnes' house. Great guy, really, really talented, very funny, and he's just got all this. It's like a museum. His house is like a pop culture. It's like going to Blast from the Past.
Sure.
It's like, and I was just
it's
like, hey.
going to my house.
I was like, hey, do you have Batman the Animated Series on DVD? He's like, yeah, what do you need? He just handed me just a page, like one of those CD pages filled with DVDs. So here you go. Just take that home. Just give it back when you need it. And I was like, all right. So I went home, watched it, and sped over here. And boy, let's talk episode 1 on Leather Wings.
On Leather Wings is the first episode. Although I found out it's not the first it aired, but we're going to be talking about them in production order.
Yes.
So if you nerds out there are screaming at us that
Let's talk about intent. Because first off, it first aired at 8 p.m., I believe, right?
I think it
Batman the Animated Series had a prime
time premiere, and then it moved to like
afternoons.
Yeah.
It's Fox afternoons, which everyone pretends that it was a Saturday morning cartoon. It didn't play Saturdays until Batman and Robin.
Yeah, it was I would watch it when I came home from school.
Yeah, it was whatever time your local Fox affiliate decided to play Batman.
Yeah, I felt like, for me, running home from Larchmont Elementary in Norfolk, Virginia, I felt like it was like 3:30 is when they would show it.
I think we got ours later. I think we got ours at like 4 o'clock. It was like kind of nice.
That's more generous, because most schools, when I was that age, were letting out at 3. I think you're cutting into my Batman time, fuckers.
Yeah, I think that's why. I think our local Fox affiliate was pretty smart about it.
Yeah.
They were like, well, look, this is the show that the kids are watching. And so on Leather Wings, what an insane first. Okay. Oh, our 3 things.
Yeah, we got to get 3 things.
We got to get our 3 things we want to talk about.
Yeah.
Do you want to go first with your first one?
My first one is the opening, just in general. This counts for this episode because it's the pilot episode, and then for the series as a whole, the opening credit sequence or the opening title sequence of the animated series is something I wanted to talk about because it fucking rules.
It's gorgeous,
and there's no titles in it.
No,
at all.
No, it's just a small movie.
Yeah, it's like a little short. I was like, I was thinking to myself as I was watching it, it's like, you could have just released this as a short and people would have been ape shit over it.
Oh, imagine if that was like the teaser trailer they released.
It probably was.
Yeah.
Like I can see them making that to sell the show.
In Comic-Con 91.
Yeah.
They showed that and they were like, also animated on black cells.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a lot like it's very reminiscent of the Max Fleischer Superman cartoons.
Yeah.
Where there's a lot of scenes that are the black cell animation, obviously, and then there's a lot of scenes that are just still paintings and they'll animate a part of it.
Yep.
Like in that opening sequence, the shot of Batman up close, it's just his eyes are animated, but the rest of him is
a very
static.
Yeah.
And that's very Max Fleischer, and I love the Max Fleischer cartoons. So seeing it, and it's a technique they do all the time throughout the series, and it's great.
And
I fucking love it.
We discussed a couple episodes ago that they straight up just pull the music.
Yeah. It's just the Danny Elfman theme.
Yeah. Can we do this? And they're like, yeah. And it's funny because you bring that up, but the they musically do like the Bam Biff and the Pow.
Yeah.
Like it's musically done, not necessarily obviously, but it's very there. It's very clearly
like each
there.
dodge where he's getting punched at is a musical cue, and then when he hits the guy, it's a cue. Those two bank robbers. They fucking detonated that bank.
They are all about. They're all in.
Those dudes are some enterprising two guys in suits.
Yeah, those guys are probably some of the most diabolical villains.
Right.
That I've ever they killed a security guard.
Of course.
For sure a security guard is dead.
However much explosives they had to use to just crater the it's like the Die Hard with a Vengeance heist.
Yeah.
They blew a hole in the city
Yeah.
to rob that bank.
Which, by the way, Die Hard with a Vengeance, he was just the Riddler.
Yeah.
He was just straight up the Riddler.
He was just a Riddler. Yeah.
Like it's the same. The Die Hard with a Vengeance plot point is the same plot point as Batman Forever, where he's like giving you misdirection,
Right.
in the riddles.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with anything. Yeah, he's just
Welcome to Die Hard Cast.
Hardcast.
That is something else.
On the way.
So that opening, continue.
Yeah, that opening. It's awesome, and it's such. Tonally, it was like this is what the show is going to be, and for a lot of it is. Even though this first episode is kind of insane, that they go with Man-Bat.
It's going to be my first thing to bring up if you want me to.
Sure.
Well, no, because continue your thing.
But the tone of it matches, though. Like, there's not anything in this first episode. There's not anything that's overly cartoony. It's pretty straight. Like it feels like a 40s serial almost.
Yes, except for the fact that there's a monster in it.
Sure, aside from the fact that it's like a werewolf monster.
That actually is that's my problem with this, is that they open with the least probable villain to
That's
have
true.
at this point in time. It's a guy. It's a guy who Dr. Jekyll's himself, and they give you like the worst red herring. Like, maybe it's the mean old guy. It's like, it's not. It's the young,
it's the
jacked.
The guy with such angular cheekbones and
I know.
Fucking Dr.
Dude,
Kirk Langstrom walks in.
They have the most fuckable scientists in Gotham City I have ever seen in my life.
One of my other points. We'll get to that hopefully. But we're still talking about Man-Bat.
Okay, because there's a lot to this that I want to talk about, not the least of which actually comes at the end. Because first off, Batman, his big power move is a headlock on Man-Bat at the end. It's a headlock. He rides him headlock, blocks him, smashes his head in, brings him to the Batcave, and Alfred is so glib and nonchalant about a monster in the Batcave.
About a winged werewolf.
His line is, "Oh, there'll be two for dinner." That's a fucking bat, man.
That's a goddamn monster.
Like, that is...
That's one of my notes that I wrote down. I don't know if it'll actually be a point, but it's consistent throughout the first couple episodes, is that Alfred has jokes.
Yeah.
That is all
he's all chill.
Yeah.
He is 100%
he's so
chill.
laid back. He's like testing his material out on Master Bruce.
What did you see in your life where an unconscious werewolf is there, and your first reaction is to do a one-liner about dinner?
Yeah.
Like, that is...
He must be like the Michael Caine one where he's like, I was hunting a bandit.
I was hunting a werewolf in Cambodia. And this motherfucker had big leathery wings. But it's a real curveball to do that. Because what you should have opened with was either a Two-Face origin or a Joker story. Mm-hmm. That is, or honestly the Penguin, because you're coming right off of Batman Returns.
Yeah. The Scarecrow one that's episode 3 is pretty decent too.
But instead, you choose the most non-belonging.
Right. You choose like the third vignette from the Tales from the Dark Side movie.
Yeah, it's you're doing Sherlock Holmes versus the Wolfman, and the big reveal is that he was a real Wolfman.
Right. I say, let's tear these glued patches of fur off his... Jesus Christ!
This is real, guys.
It's a real werewolf.
Do I have a photography expert here? Is that available at this time?
I'll see if I can get it to hold still for 5 minutes. Watson's furiously trying to sketch it.
It's just a drawing. This is not going to work, man. Just cut its head off.
So yeah, it is a bold choice to open with the Man-Bat.
It's, in a way, terribly reckless. Because you're setting a very weird tone for your very grounded, all things considered grounded. I mean, we're gonna hit androids and AI and stuff like that, but
Yeah.
that's all. I don't know. Man-Bat, for something that's non-conventional, they also do a lot of very conventional things. Like they do the whole like the scientist walking behind his chemicals while explaining his plan.
Yeah. He does the transformation where his voice gets all
Yeah,
distorted.
it's a he's Dr. Jekyll-ing.
Yeah.
Like that's
and
the whole thing.
Kirk Langstrom strolls in looking like the bad guy from Lethal Weapon 2.
Yep.
Not the old guy. The young
Flamethrower guy.
Yeah, no. That's Lethal Weapon 4. The dude that like killed Riggs' wife and they get like kick fight underneath the shipping containers. Yeah, he just comes in with his angular cheekbones and he's just the most Aryan dude in the universe. So I figured out how to conquer death by turning myself into a bat.
What?
Yeah.
It's it's the lizard, for one. It's a Kurt Connors lizard story.
Yeah.
Because what you have is now the duality of there's a monster inside of me and it is making my decisions for me as a human.
Yeah.
Because you can see he's like addicted and he's like, it knows what it wants.
Right.
And so you're like, all right, I saw that in Amazing Spider-Man number 365 with Kurt Connors. There's a lot of that. Mm-hmm. But that being said, I don't think they didn't create that feeling. That's,
No.
Again, with Jekyll and Hyde.
Yeah, it's more of that and more of like a Wolfman thing. They do throw a little bit of the detective stuff in there where he has to like take the bat hair and shit, which is kind of cool. And his computer has a weird computer speaking voice.
Yes. However, Bruce Wayne is really showing his hand by playing the audio and being like,
That's
I
true.
heard this.
Yeah.
What could this be? And nobody's like, motherfucker, you did not hear this in your chimney.
Right. It's clearly like
It's a monster.
demon.
It's a-
like howling.
Etrigan is in your chimney.
Yeah.
Yeah, that to me, where I was, as I'm watching it, I'm like, dude, have a little,
Right. Like
go show up as Batman.
Yeah.
Even like you don't need Bruce Wayne to
Yeah,
get
like,
this
why did-
information.
why did Bruce stroll in and be like, I found these hairs in my chimney, and it's like
Here's some evidence I shouldn't have.
right, yeah, here's serious like evidence of a monster that I just have. Why don't you use this in the huge lab that's at the zoo?
Yeah.
Why does the zoo have this incredible laboratory
Yep.
just for bat research?
The regional planning group of Gotham City, the urban planners, are the most reckless people I've ever heard of. They will let you put anything next to anything
Yeah, there's 3 pharmaceutical plants
right by the river,
in Gotham.
and they're all by the river.
Yeah, just there are multiple pharmaceutical factories, production factories for the Man-Bat to rob.
And for the next episode we discuss, we'll also talk about abandoned factories.
Oh yeah, there's a lot in Gotham.
How many comedy-themed abandoned warehouses can you have in one place?
There's so much property that could be reclaimed in Gotham, and it's just sitting there wasting.
Eminent
going to waste.
domain, the Laugh Toy Factory thing. But yeah, my first thing is just, what are you guys doing with Man-Bat as your first thing?
That was a wild choice.
And also probably the least well-known
I read
villain.
something before we came to record this with Paul Dini, where he said that was part of the intent.
I get
He
it.
wanted to pick a villain that was super unknown.
Well, then do one of your Roland Daggett.
Daggett winds up being like a huge. Or is that? Oh no,
Rupert
it's not
Thorne.
Thorne.
Rupert
That's what I'm
Thorne
thinking
is.
of.
But Daggett is really instrumental in Clayface. That's he's the Clayface creator. We'll get to that later. We'll get down there.
He's just,
so-
doesn't he show up in Dark Knight Rises?
Yes, yeah, he's he gets killed.
He gets killed by Bane. Yeah.
No, he died. He isn't he one of the ones that the Scarecrow calls guilty?
No,
Because he's
pretty
like, I'm one of you, and he's like, no, you're not. get out on the thing.
I don't remember.
I think he is.
I thought Bane killed him in his office.
We'll get to it.
We'll get to that.
Oh, it might. Yeah. Well. What's your second point that you
My
want to bring
second
up?
point is that every man in Gotham does nothing but chest day.
They are some-
Every man in Gotham is just barrel chested.
and Man Bat. Dude, when he shows up,
Man Bat
when he
is-
turns into Man Bat,
Yeah.
I'm like, an ingredient is steroids.
Yeah, one of those ingredients
This is clear.
HGH. Yeah, there's every dude in Gotham is swole as fuck.
They're all skipping leg day though.
Yeah, they're only working out the glamour muscles, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
They want to be, I don't know, they
Curls for the girls. Yeah.
right. That's right. Like Commissioner Gordon, even fucking Bullock.
Yeah. Oh, so I can work with that into my second. My second point ties into what you just brought up, which is the story writers do not respect the police.
No,
And they are viewed as the dumbest group of Keystone cops or cavalier assholes.
right.
There's no middle ground because even when the SWAT team shows up, there's a lot of hup 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 hup.
And they're dummies.
Yeah.
He throws a tear gas grenade and a bunch of chemicals.
Oh, he gasses everyone. He
blows
gasses
up the fucking building.
He gasses Montoya.
oh,
That's
man.
our first view of Montoya, is her hanging out, reading a magazine, getting gassed to shit. Then he gasses a whole bunch more. It's like, do you know about the long-term effects of this gas?
Oh, you mean Batman?
Batman does.
I was talking about the SWAT captain throws a tear gas grenade right next to a stack of chemicals.
he does do that.
blows
He's
the
a
joint
moron.
up. Yeah.
But the fact that they do the hup, 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 hup,
Yeah.
that's like classic moron move.
Yeah.
And then the other aspect of that is Bullock basically telling his boss to fuck off.
Right. Like he's so like slapping Gordon in the face with his dick.
That's not how cops work.
It's like, you heard the mayor? It's like, yeah, you're a detective.
Yeah. That's the commissioner.
Yeah.
Even if you went, because he went over the commissioner's head
Yeah.
to get to the mayor. And the mayor gave him that. He's like, the mayor said I can do that. Don't you think you're going to be a fucking beat cop?
Yeah.
The next time you have to do something?
Yeah, he gets his. This was my first introduction to the character of Bullock.
Yeah, same.
And
Was he in the comics before that?
I'm not sure.
I think he might have been for the cartoon.
So for the cartoon, we have Harley's definitely for the cartoon.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure the angle of Mr. Freeze's origin, where his wife is sick, is from the cartoon.
Probably, yeah. Montoya, who became a very instrumental character.
Montoya is created by the cartoon as well?
Yes, I
Man.
believe so.
Somebody might have to check our homework
Yeah.
on that. But yeah, at any rate, this is the first time I knew that character, and I had Bullock written down as a point to talk about.
Yep.
Because he's a cool, interesting character, but not in these first few episodes. In these first few episodes, he's just an angry dickhead.
Yeah.
They're
not fleshing him out very well. He's a
Right.
slob.
right. We're not getting into why the hell he's so angry at Batman. Right now, he just seems like a guy who's irrationally mad at Batman.
Yeah, and we'll enjoy, I think the Bullock episodes where Bullock shines are usually some of the best ones.
Yeah, because it gets into an aspect of Batman that sort of makes the superhero fun less fun. Because it's like, look, you're making all these guys look like dickheads, and
Yeah, I have literally as a note, Bullock doesn't give a fuck who his boss is.
he doesn't.
Like, he tells him off getting into the helicopter.
Yeah.
And then the helicopter takes off and he's like, oh, wait for me, and jumps in. That's so dangerous.
Right, like that's
You would never do that in
No.
real life. You are too fat to get up into that elevator. Into that helicopter.
as it's lifting up off the building.
Yeah.
Why would you wait until the least safe moment?
Yeah.
Come on, Harvey.
Also, several Harveys in
Too
this
many
episode.
Harveys in
There's
Gotham.
a meeting that is 50% Harvey
Yeah, right.
at the mayor's office.
Right.
Where it's the mayor, commissioner, Harvey Dent, Harvey Bullock.
It's too many Harveys.
And an invisible rabbit.
The mayor looks like the warden from the Shawshank Redemption.
He's being obtuse.
Mm-hmm.
So your third thing?
Bullock was kind of
Okay.
Alfred's got jokes. Yeah, those were all the things I wanted to talk about.
All right. I have
Alfred's
one.
got so many goddamn jokes.
So he's very dry. It's very dry. He's very
Bone
funny.
dry British wit.
Can we talk? And I'm not sure if you noticed this. The big ending is no justice is served.
Nope.
Batman has what I'm assuming is audio evidence of Kirk explaining his crime.
Yes.
Because you're Batman, you walk in, a guy starts monologuing at you, you hit record.
You hit the bat recorder
You do
immediately.
that. There's no way he didn't do that. He's monitoring everything.
Right. I'm sure it's recording all the time.
The guy, he legit says, they wouldn't let me do human testing, so I did it on myself, and then I fucked up a bunch of stuff and assaulted a ton of security guards, destroyed a lot of tech. Like, I basically mirrored the pilot for Ninja Turtles in a very similar, like, all these science companies are getting hit. What's going on? Is it ninjas or Batman? Like, it's all a very similar pilot.
Right,
There's
yeah.
massive parallels, by the way. But then at the end, he just brings him home. He's like, here's your husband,
yeah.
the criminal.
Draped in his cape that he's also wearing.
I maybe cured him.
It's like, yeah, it's over.
He-
I guess. Like, how
No,
do you
it's
guys not
not.
gonna wake? Like, it wasn't the chemical that made him want to test on human beings. Like, he's still possessed of this notion of like genetic superiority.
He made the decision to do the testing,
Right.
knowing what would happen,
Yeah, you didn't disabuse him of that notion. Like,
and then you just gave him back.
yeah, back to his wife, who presumably helped him develop.
She would
this.
have to be in there. Obviously, Grandpa's a piece of shit.
Yeah,
The
lied
mean
about
old
the
man is a
evidence and-
liar.
Yeah.
So he's an accomplice.
Yeah.
So you're basically for no reason.
Yeah.
There's no altruistic deed. It's not like he caught some kid stealing bread to feed the family and shows back up and is like, I'm going to support you all. That's not what happens. It's just a family of assholes
yeah.
recklessly endangering an entire city and possibly, wait for it, humankind itself.
Right.
Like, the plan is eventually to create the next step in evolution.
Yeah, which is bats wearing elastic jeans.
Wearing those Chuck Norris karate jeans
Yeah,
from
he's-
the 70s.
Very little. Everybody's very shrimpy legs in Gotham.
What are they? They should have been. It's that there was like they just missed the Zubaz face.
Yeah, he's wearing like high waters.
Yeah.
he's wearing capri pants.
And so the end shows Batman's cavalier recklessness to justice.
No follow up with the zoo lab.
Yeah.
Like the bat lab that's in
You
the
keep
zoo.
doing what you're doing.
Yeah. Hey, you.
I'm gonna take off.
Yeah.
Like, there's the villain wins.
Like we haven't seen it yet at this point, but Gordon's so defensive of Batman, like we can assume pretty safely that they already have their working relationship.
Yes.
You don't think the next time Gordon sees Batman, he's going to be like, so, what'd you do with the werewolf?
Yeah, and I noticed you carrying what was clearly a bat.
A giant bat thing.
Don't think I don't recognize the coincidence here. You yourself are a Batman. You can't just say man bat and make me think, well, that's not weird.
Also, the main premise of the show is that the bat attacks a security guard in the beginning and throws him out the window. With everything's by the river, like you said. And he says, yeah, I was attacked by Batman.
You didn't.
You can't tell the difference between a literal monster and a man in a bat costume.
That being said, we can cut back to our first episode when we talk about 89 Batman, where there's a mystique around
That's
Batman.
true, yeah.
Where
his relationship with Gordon makes me think that he's more established at this point.
True. And I do want to say, to pick up a fourth point,
Sure.
the fact that they don't open with your origin is nice.
Oh, yeah. Just go
They're
right
just
in.
like,
You're
yeah,
Batman.
this is what it is.
We don't want to waste any
And that
time on
works, yeah.
Yeah.
Who'd watch a pilot like that?
About little Bruce Wayne's parents getting shot. Oh, we watched a 2-hour movie about it.
Oh, God. Oh, it's fun.
Batman Begins. All right. So that's that episode. That's On Leather Wings.
So, yeah, on Leather Wings, odd choice.
I still like it.
It's not a bad episode.
not a bad episode.
Okay, actually, here's what I'm finding out about Batman the Animated Series is it's good. And also, it's not as great as I remember. There's
Parts of
some good parts,
Yeah.
certainly, but like, there's a lot of chaff.
Speaking of chaff, episode 2.
Episode 2,
Christmas with the Joker.
what? Whoa. What a curveball.
partway through watching this, I just sent you a text that just said, "Man, Christmas with the Joker is wild."
It is.
This episode.
There's a lot going on.
It opens. Oh man. Okay.
It
Our
opens-
3 things is going to be hard because I have like a half page of
there's
notes
a lot.
about this. I think the broader first thing, and it's probably a thing on your list too, is just Mark Hamill's Joker because this is the first time.
Was that Hamill?
Yeah.
Okay.
This is the first. I don't.
Because
It's
there's
not,
a different Joker at some point in time.
not on the animated series.
Are we sure? Are we 100% sure?
I'm not 100% sure.
Because I think there might be another guy.
Anyhow, this is definitely Mark Hamill, and it's the first appearance production-wise. This is the second produced episode.
Yeah.
And so it's technically the first Mark Hamill Joker appearance. Which is, I mean, that is he everyone's favorite Joker, or is that Heath Ledger?
Yeah, he is. No, he's got to be.
He's the most. I think he's the most emblematic of the Joker, or he's the one
everyone's
who's
favorite Joker.
he's the one who's done it the longest.
Yeah.
Like he, when every time he shows up in like a new Batman video game as a Joker, everybody loses their minds.
Weird. I seem to remember it being like there was like another fill-in guy once, but I guess I was wrong.
It's a good characterization of the Joker.
Oh, he's great.
I remember just as a kid, not having, you don't know who does voices on cartoons, but I loved the Joker's voice.
All right.
I was like, it's such a crazy voice that whoever this is doing for the Joker. That's an awesome voice. So we're introduced to this character, which is great. This is a weird episode.
It's a real twist from you're going into like this is dark and gritty to now here's an episode of Batman 66.
Right. The tonal shift between, like, even on Leather Wings we were talking about, even though it's a out of left field with this man-bat monster, like the tone is consistent with what they were establishing and that opening title shot. The tone of Christmas with the Joker is so crazy.
It's insane.
Yeah.
Which I guess is good.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I didn't dislike it. It's just so wild that such an abrupt shift, like for the second episode. It felt like a studio note. So I went and looked at what order they were all aired in, and they're aired in like a crazy ass order that doesn't make any sense anyway. But this episode was definitely not aired until way later in the season, so it wasn't like some producer or some studio person saw that first pilot episode, which is, silly because it's a man bat, but it's also it maintained the tone, and Batman bleeds in it.
Yep.
I
mean, Batman
wild.
bleeds in the first one.
That's what I was talking about
okay.
in the Man Bat episode. So I felt like somebody looked at that and it's like, well, let's make a kooky, fun one that's more for kids, because this is a kids show, obviously.
Yeah.
And that's Christmas with the Joker, and it starts out with him
Real curveball.
jumping on a Christmas tree and riding it out through the roof of Arkham Asylum like a rocket. And Charles Manson is there.
Yeah, he is.
Charles Manson is in Arkham Asylum.
That makes sense.
So that's fun. Yeah, so that was my first thing that I wanted to talk about, was just Mark Hamill's Joker in general, and this is the first appearance technically of Mark Hamill's Joker, and he's great. The episode's insane, wild.
Yeah, there's a
so
lot
much
going on. There's a lot of just a mix of danger and insanity thrown together. So what I would like to talk about, first and foremost, are cops celebrities in Gotham? Because the Awful Lawful family is a newscaster.
Who we don't know yet.
Correct.
We're not introduced to that character until the following episode.
Yeah. Which explains why they would produce it in a certain way and then air it in a different way as well. It's
Summer Gleason.
Summer Gleason. And then it's Harvey Bullock and
Commissioner Gordon.
Commissioner Gordon.
Like, why would...
Who, I don't know any cops.
Right.
Why
I would question whether even the Joker would even know any cops. Like, why would he?
Yeah, he's too busy focusing on the
He's
guy dressed as
focusing
a
on
bat.
Batman. That's the guy we all focus on.
Right? It's just a little strange that's the choice.
He also made cardboard cutouts of them in his audience. And his cardboard cutout audience for his Christmas with the Joker
Yes.
show. Like Gordon and Bullock are in the front row next to
watch
Batman.
that's got to be fucked up. You watch that.
Yeah.
Side note: there was an actor named Lauren Lester
Uh-huh.
who filled in for Joker. He was also the voice of
He's Robin, yeah.
But he did some Joker stuff.
Oh, okay.
That's why it was like a curveball to me.
Oh, okay.
So I apologize for being like, "What is happening?" But I was. That's that. But the first thing for me is just like, are cops famous here? Is Gotham that bad? Where your cops are your athletes?
I guess, man. Gotham's an interesting place.
So that's my first thing.
Okay. My second thing, and it's kind of a fun bit that runs throughout the episode, but Batman is so desperate for crime. Like Robin's like, it's Christmas Eve, let's go home. And Batman's like, fuck you. We're going on patrol. And like nothing's happening. And he's like, there's gotta be something. He sees this guy running to return this package to this old lady. He's like, let's get that guy.
You know what's funny? The Joker, a serial killer, has escaped.
Yeah, and Robin's like,
Robin's
let's
like-
watch It's a Wonderful Life. The Joker's not gonna do anything on Christmas. It's like, fucker, why wouldn't he?
He escaped on a Christmas tree singing a Christmas song.
Yeah.
He's got plans.
Boy, does he. He really orchestrated quite a lot.
Yeah. It's funny that he, as a distraction to making 3 murders, he tries to commit like a mass murder.
Like an intense amount of murders.
Yeah.
He builds a tank that drives down the street, and the only purpose of the tank that I can see is to launch a gigantic Santa rocket into the sky that then bursts and shows his face.
Which, that's got to be expensive. His budget is insane. His mannequin budget
Money has no
alone
object for the
is
Joker.
out of control.
The Joker is John Hammond.
Yeah. I feel like you could just find who's making these mannequins
Yeah.
and just be like, that's the guy. But also, he tries to kill an entire train full of people.
Yes.
A full train, apparently, because Christmas Eve at 11:30 p.m. That train,
Yeah.
filled with people.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone's taking the 11:30 Christmas Eve train over the bridge to Gotham. Where
Yeah.
are they going? What bridge is that?
Between 2 mountains.
What city?
2 of the several mountains in Gotham.
part of
Wayne
the-
Manor is on an island that is also a mountain. Man, I love Gotham City. Gotham City's supposed to be in New Jersey, you guys. So that's just, where are all these mountains and castles in New Jersey?
Yeah, but that's
Maybe it's people taking the train in from New York
yeah, that's true.
for working.
For it's Christmas Mass.
Sure, yeah.
That's what you get for taking such a late train
Yeah, you're gonna
deserve
get
to be
blown
murdered.
up by a theatrical maniac.
in a city where time clearly moves at an insane pace. Because you gave him half an hour to do a million things, and he did it.
Yeah, there's man. I guess that could be my second thing. Oh no, my second thing was Batman just so desperate for something to do, and he's so angry about having to watch It's a Wonderful Life.
He's really...
He's like, I don't like that title because my life is nothing but sadness and misery.
Yeah.
Anyway, boy who hangs out with me, let's go fight crime in our costumes.
And it's also how naive Robin is, that
Yeah.
it's just like, who cares about this?
Is this Tim Drake or is this Dick Grayson?
This is Dick Grayson.
Is it? Okay.
Yes. Tim Drake shows up in Batman, The Adventures of Batman and Robin is the Tim Drake character.
Word.
Because then he's Dick is Nightwing.
Okay.
So let's talk. At the end, I'll use that as my third one. I did. Does nobody have a mask in Gotham? Any thugs want to wear a mask while they're
Yeah.
on TV setting bombs?
Right. These
You're a
guys are.
citizen.
Yeah. You are committing just a heinous act of mass murder. You're committing a terrorist act live on television.
Singing a song.
Singing a song. Just
Just
no masks.
it's cold out. You might need a mask for practical purposes, let alone hiding your identity.
No. They wanted to look sharp. With
Donner and Blitzen.
Donner and
just-
Blitzen, yeah, just wearing their fedoras. A lot of fedoras. The hat game is strong in Gotham.
Well, that was something we haven't discussed is why this seems to hold up so much.
Part of it is because it keeps the aesthetic of the Burton films where it's like 1940s but not.
Yeah. and that keeps them in a timeless position, which I think
Agreed.
is
Yeah,
interesting.
that's totally. It doesn't immediately date it like even the Schumacher ones are kind of detached from reality.
Yeah.
With all that Gothic Art Deco architecture.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a wise decision for the animated
Yeah.
series. They were just really riding on the Burton reimagining of Batman.
I think success in animation does have a lot to do with being both of your time while not showing your hand.
Yeah.
You know, you can write current material while not having a current aesthetic. And that lets you last. So 25 years later, we're
Yeah.
still talking about this as being such a great show, and it doesn't look oddly dated.
Yeah, it holds up.
Except for my third thing.
Well, there's one thing that immediately comes to mind. There's a moment where Joker says a word from our sponsors, and that hasn't been a thing since like the 60s. But it was still a joke they were making in things in the early 90s, but that has since, like, you don't hear that joke anymore because it is so beyond being relevant.
That's a fair point.
But yeah,
You want I'll do my third thing if you want.
sure, do your third thing.
Bruce Wayne, the suit, that's the suit you guys are going to give him? That's going to be his default suit? Shit brown with a yellow shirt? You know, they made gray suits back then.
He looks like an eclair, like he's walking around looking like a cannoli.
And I get that that's the only thing that is really of its time
Is the brown
cut
suits.
and shape and color of the suit that is his default, because it's a very boxy suit, which is of the 90s.
Yeah.
And I get that that's also like, zoot suit time. But beyond that, the color scheme is so terrible. And they must have, I don't know why they had to do that, because later on they correct it and he starts walking around in black suits all the time.
Right, which is dope.
But like a gray or like a navy, maybe it's because it would have been too dark and it doesn't create the dichotomy of him being like a happy-go-lucky guy.
Right.
But it's so fucking ugly.
These bats in my chimney.
It's so ugly.
It is a bad suit.
It's a bad suit that by the way, his same going to the zoo suit is also his Christmas dinner suit.
He's Bruce Wayne. He's got more than one suit.
You are rich
Yeah.
beyond compare. Let's get you a nice suit. That was my third one. Is just like, that's the suit, huh?
Yeah, that's gonna be your suit. All right. My third thing, man, it's hard to nail down.
There's a lot.
There's a lot
Because
going on.
I think we have other things that we're probably going to breach in here too.
Sure. I feel like, okay, here's the toy factory scene in general, I think, which is the closing scene where he tracks the Joker down to this toy factory, and that's where he's been doing his pirate broadcast of his Christmas special, which, by the way, on its face, I love that idea.
Yeah.
Hey, let's have the Joker do his own Christmas special to tease Batman. I'm like, that's a perfect idea.
And the jokes, the throwaway gags are hilarious.
Oh, yeah, when he throws his hat on the tree and it just falls out.
It's got a very, you can tell the animators like Chuck Jones.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
When Batman grabs the Joker and then he just slips out of he's got a vest made of arms and stuff.
Yeah,
That's really funny.
It's real dumb. They get to the toy factory based on Joker's like mad. He's like, you haven't figured out where I am yet? Well, here's another clue for you. It's like, you haven't given us any clues.
Yeah.
And then
You've just been the Joker.
you've just been,
That's a
yucking it
clue?
up. Yeah, right.
Once we find out where he is, you're like, oh, that was the
That's
clue.
true. That's a huge clue. Yeah. Like when they find out he's at like the Laughco toy factory. It's like, come on, Batman.
Laughco toy and knife bomb factory.
Right. Like anyway,
Just check.
just a cursory Google Maps search.
Yeah, just check the paper.
Yeah.
For factories that close down. Get some microfiche.
Well, Batman figures it out because Joker whips out this Betty Blooper doll and is like, what do? They wreak havoc on Gotham. And Robin's like, I haven't seen a toy like that in years. And Batman says, there hasn't been a toy like that in ages. Not since the Laughco toy factory shut down 15 years ago.
That is specific information.
Is Batman a doll collector?
He might be.
Does he? Is that why he knows the intricate details of that doll's production
You know
history?
He bought it so he could liquidate the company.
That's
what he did.
Hostile takeover.
Yeah, he just bought the company, fired everyone. All of those. That's what Donner and Blitzen used to do. They worked at the factory.
He left
the
that-
Joker. That's what it's all about.
The Joker's like a factory foreman. Now Batman left up the old factory as like a tombstone to taunt all the old people he cleaned
That's
out.
what he did. Bruce Wayne did a hostile takeover, took over the Laughco toy factory, fucked it up. That's why he knows. These are his This is his ghost of Christmas past.
Right.
Haunting him.
These are the ghosts that are going to come back and haunt him. So they walk in, they fight giant toy soldiers, which, fine.
There is no danger in any of the weapons that are attacking them, by the way.
Well, I like that Batman's opening move on that first toy soldiers. He just leaps effortlessly 4 stories up to its shoulder and tears its head off.
That's why you don't skip leg day.
Yeah.
What a savage move.
Yes. Immediately leaps. Like, imagine seeing that.
That's like
watching a human man leap 40 feet into the air and tear this robot's head from its shoulder.
Like a flea. He's got the vertical leap of a flea. Are you sure you don't have powers or something?
Just leaps up there.
Robin goes, Jesus Christ.
Yes. It's the Jack Napier moment all over
everybody.
again. Jesus.
Everybody around, he's like Batman running around telling people he doesn't have powers. Meanwhile, he is doing the most powers shit.
Right, yeah, he just has powers coming out of his ass.
Yeah, there's no danger in those attacks.
No, the planes that come after them, it's easily dispatched. I don't know. I feel like Joker's not trying. Maybe it's because it's Christmas.
And Batman is thoroughly inefficient.
Right.
He picks up the baseball
Picks up a
bat. Meanwhile, Robin's just like, I'll just hold up this drum. Powerfully. Those are like 150 pounds. And he just holds up a drum and catches them all. They all aim for the drum. Batman, don't worry. Just get a drum.
Their programming will defeat them.
That's what they attack.
They hate drums, it turns out. And then after they beat all that, there's a scene where it cuts back. It's like, keep your eyes out. The Joker could be anywhere. And it pulls back. There is a giant green curtain. Just
Where do you think he
the
might be?
entire length of the factory. And he's like, keep an eye out. The Joker could be anywhere.
And does the Joker not know? I forgot. Did he notice what's going on in the other room? Because you might notice
I assume so.
your giant artificial intelligence android nutcracker soldiers
Are failing.
are toppling,
Being brutalized.
exploding.
Yeah.
You hear there are planes in the other room.
Batman is committing war crimes on those toy soldiers. So then the curtain just slow opens and the Joker's there holding the awful waffles above a vat of something. Lava?
Yeah, toy lava.
Toy lava.
Why wouldn't it be?
Molten plastic, I'll assume.
Yeah.
And then when
Be a
he's
cool way to make false face.
And then when Batman has to save the Joker at the end, he runs up onto the catwalk and steps on a single roller skate that's just on the catwalk by itself. No other roller skates around. We haven't seen any roller skates in this factory.
You
There's
could have
just
leapt across the
one roller
entire
skate.
catwalk. We know what you can do with those legs.
Joker steps on that roller skate and almost dies. And it's delightful.
Oh, the Joker. I also want to talk about how Robin, just out of nowhere, they're like, here's Robin. Remember
Yeah.
the time where Batman was doing his own thing and fighting a demon?
Right, yeah, here's Robin.
here's Robin hanging out.
Yeah. They've
Oh.
clearly been at it for a while. They're old hands at working
Like,
together.
Robin should have had an origin story.
I
That's
think
one thing. He
there's-
does.
I think he does later.
Yeah, it's the Tony Zuko episode where he goes after him. It's the circus episode. It's a
Yeah.
good episode.
Yeah, I remember it. Batman.
But
One more thing about Batman's incredible strength. He leaps up and grabs the waffles out of the air above the vat. That's 3 adults,
and one of which is morbidly obese.
one of which is Bullock.
minimum 280 pounds.
That guy is over 2 bills.
Oh,
Gordon's over 2 bills.
yeah. Gordon, I'm guessing, is a solid 225 to 235.
He is. He looks solid.
We'll put Summer at 108. We'll use that number for all women in the Batman universe. So right there, you're looking at about 333 pounds. And then you add Harvey, who's close to 333 pounds on his own. Batman at least pulled his arm out
He
the shoulder.
stops their momentum and redirects it to push them over with a single
He
flying
would have just
tackle.
hit it and then fallen in
And they
with
would have
them.
all fallen in the boiling plastic.
But it's a
He might have shifted
cartoon.
one of them a little bit to like just enough so that Gordon
So they
hits his neck on the side of the thing. And just
Smashes his face and it just goes down.
$1 million baby style.
Gordon in the little puts
Oh,
a pillow.
What a wonderful episode.
Oh, just really, it really. I mean, I guess these two set the tone
They do.
of sometimes this is going to be fucking
It's the
insane,
spectrum, yeah.
and sometimes it's going to be dark and weird, and we have no reason why we did this.
Yeah. Oh man, I love the very end too, where it was like, it's nice of Commissioner Gordon to lend you his tape of It's a Wonderful Life. Did he request the tape as Batman or as Bruce?
It's Bruce, yeah. Which one?
I hope it was Batman because that's first of all, it's the only thing that makes sense for the amount of time it would have taken. But also just because I want to picture Batman being like, "Hey, listen, do you happen to have a copy of It's a Wonderful Life on VHS? My child here has been wanting to watch it."
Or like on 8mm.
Yeah.
Because how weird the timing is there.
Well, his television is like a Jetsons television.
Oh man, right?
So great.
It's all in black and white.
Fucking wonderful show.
It's a wonderful show.
It's a wonderful shit. Yeah. One more thing I wanted to call out. We're really going all over the place.
It's fine.
Well, we did our 3 things. Damn it.
We did it. We got
When they get to we didn't even mention the observatory.
the tank observatory.
Right, that Joker converted the telescope into a cannon. This is the second mass murder he almost commits as it's shooting wildly off into Gotham.
Also, Batman and Robin, the movie, kind of lifts that.
Yeah, it does. It turns it into a freeze cannon. Freeze in hell, Batman. There's a Batman's outside tussling with the cannon. Robin runs inside, and they're the 6 Joker robots that are shooting machine guns at him. And then he radios Batman, and it's like, "Batman, help!" And then Batman's like, "Do Operation Cause and Effect." And what Robin does next is comes out from hiding and throws a grenade at the cannon, and it blows up. So Operation Cause and Effect means Robin throw a grenade.
That is accurate, though. There is a cause and effect.
That's true.
It's like, don't care about people.
Yeah.
I like that that's a bat weapon, too.
A grenade?
It's just a
well, he puts it in a
standard-
sling first and then throws it.
Standard grenade. Standard frag grenade.
Yeah. There's little bat wings on it, though.
Oh, of course. Of
So,
course.
I mean, he's got it
to
branded.
make it worse.
Right.
To make it harder to throw.
To make it even, less aerodynamic and maim people slightly more. With the 2 extra pieces of jagged metal sticking off of it.
It's rough.
Ah, man, what an episode. What a fabulous episode.
So that's our first foray into Batman the Animated Series.
Yeah.
What do you think?
About.
No, it's the people listening.
Oh, the people the people watching. Well, yeah, what do you guys think? They're all the whole series, the whole original series is up on Amazon Prime. So if you guys got Prime, you can just watch it for free.
Or if you have a friend that has the DVDs.
Yeah, the friend has the DVDs. The DVDs are also real cheap on Amazon right now. You can get them for like a song. So yeah, we're gonna
do more of these.
plunge
soon.
right ahead. Yeah, the next one has the Scarecrow in it. Pretty excited about that one.
About that.
Scarecrow's got. I already know what one of my things is going to be, and that's the Scarecrow's got some serious blimp game. Like that blimp is enormous.
Hey,
Where's he hiding that
he's
thing?
got that big blimp energy.
Big blimp energy. Where's he? Where's the hangar he's keeping that goddamn thing in? I don't know. We'll
Probably
go-
some abandoned scarecrow factory from back in the day.
An abandoned wheat factory.
Yeah. Fearco, when they close down after a hostile Wayne Enterprises takeover.
That is not that far from how Batman finds out who the Scarecrow is.
As we will get to that next week.
Next week. Yeah. Thanks
right.
you guys for listening.
Thank you. Follow our stuff. Consume our art. You know the drill.
Yeah. See you guys later.
Thanks for subscribing.
If we go out on patrol and Gotham is quiet with no sign of the Joker, we come back here, have Christmas dinner, and watch It's a Wonderful Life.
You know, I've never seen that. I could never get past the title.
Our artwork is produced by Justin Brown. You can follow him on Twitter at Justin T. Brown and find more of his artwork at artnessbyjustinbrown.com and justinbrown.info.